If you're a woman over age 40 and you have at least 50 pounds to lose in 2026, the first thing I want you to do is click on the link in my video description and download a free ebook called Break from Sugar. Now, I wrote this ebook to help you reduce bloating, decrease your sugar cravings, and lose up to 5 pounds in 7 days. Now, when I started my weight loss journey, I had almost 100 pounds to lose. And I just had to get serious with myself. The reason why I was losing and regaining the same 5 pounds, even though I was working out pretty much every day, was because I was addicted to processed sugar and I had to have it every single day. In fact, I would go out of my way to figure out how to eat processed sugar. And I'll give you an example. CVS, the pharmacy, sells the Reese's peanut butter eggs, and they have them all year round. And I would find every excuse in the book to drive past a CVS, stop and go into that CVS and pick up 2 of these Reese's peanut butter eggs. And I didn't even taste them. I just inhaled them. But I knew I had a problem with processed sugar and I had to break that habit. And once I broke that habit, I not only lost 30 pounds in the first 75 days, but I also ended up losing 70 pounds over the course of 9 months. Now, after I lost the 70 pounds, I had a lot of extra skin around my abdomen. And so I ended up having that loose skin removed with the tummy tuck because it was starting to impact my workouts. And after that tummy tuck, I went on to lose an additional 16 pounds. And I credit my almost 90-pound weight loss with being able to finally break free from the processed sugar. So if this resonates with you, click on the link in my video description and download that free ebook, Break from Sugar, right now. The next thing we're gonna do, if you have 50 pounds or more to lose in 2026, is to help you clean up your diet, because we all know that nutrition counts for 80% of the fat loss equation. So I want you to use a TDEE calculator, and I use the one at tdeecalculator.net. Plug in your information, click on the cutting tab because you want to lose weight, and find your macro targets that are moderate to low carb. Now, macros are simply your proteins, your carbs, and your fats, and we want to find out from this calculator what your targets are for your macros each day. And then I want you to take those targets and plug them into a food tracker, something like MyFitnessPal or Lose It, and then start tracking what you eat with the focus on hitting your protein target every single day. Now, I know you don't like to track what you eat. It's a hassle to do that every single day, every time you put something in your mouth. But if you are really serious about losing 50 or more pounds in 2026, it is critical for you to understand exactly the nutritional component of the foods that you're eating and what actually works to help you burn fat and lose weight, and what is actually preventing you from reaching your fat loss goals. The next thing I want you to do is to plan out and commit to a workout schedule. And here is what I recommend you do for that workout schedule. First, you want to add 4 to 5 days of fasted cardio. And fasted cardio is simply cardio that you do first thing in the morning, after you wake up, but before you eat. And I recommend you do 30 to 45 minutes of fasted cardio on these days. Now, I don't recommend you do any more than 45 minutes because you don't want to start to break down your muscle. 45 minutes is plenty for fasted cardio. The next thing you want to do is you want to incorporate 4 to 5 days of strength training into your exercise routine. Now, if you're a woman over 40 with 50 or more pounds to lose and you're not strength training, I can tell you right now that you're just going to waste your time and you're going to be frustrated and you're going to quit. As women over 40, we absolutely have to strength train, and not just simply to try to build muscle, but to just maintain the muscle mass that we have. As we age, our bodies start to break down that muscle mass, and if we're not strength training to at least try to preserve the muscle mass that we still have, then we're not going to be as efficient as burning fat. And the effort that we're putting in to maintain a clean diet and to get in movement most days of the week isn't going to yield you the results that you want. So you absolutely have to include strength training. Now, as you're putting together your strength training plan, you can do this in a couple of different ways. You can decide that you're going to do upper body workouts twice a week and lower body workouts twice a week. You can decide to group it by muscle group. So maybe you're going to do chest, back, and shoulders one day, and the next day you're going to do thighs, glutes, and legs. It really doesn't matter how you put it together, but I recommend that you hit all major muscle groups at least twice per week, and that will be sufficient for the strength training component of your exercise plan. I also recommend that you invest in a step tracker. Now, a lot of us have step trackers on our phone, so you may not even have to buy anything special for this. But invest in a step tracker if you don't have one, and try to hit 10,000 steps per day on average. And this would include the steps that you get from deliberate workouts. Now, the next thing you're going to do is invest in a refillable water bottle, because we are going to drink 64 ounces of water per day. That is the minimum that you need in order to burn off 50 pounds of fat in 2026. Now, you can buy a 64-ounce bottle where you only have to fill it once a day. You can buy a 32-ounce refillable water bottle where you only have to refill it twice a day. Whatever works for you, but get that refillable water bottle. Now, how are you going to be sure that you actually drink the water that's in your water bottle? You're going to set a timer on your phone 8 times per day. And when that timer goes off, you're going to drink a minimum of 8 ounces of water. 8 ounces of water, 8 times a day, will get you to the 64-ounce requirement each day. But you absolutely need 64 ounces of water a day at a minimum if you're going to lose 50 pounds of fat in 2026, reduce bloating, and to flush out waste and toxins from your body. The next thing I want you to do is to set a bedtime. And how are you going to decide what your bedtime is? You're going to decide what time you need to get up every day in order to get in your fasted cardio, and then you're going to count back at least 7 hours. That is the latest time that you will go to bed each night. And it is so important that you're getting in at least 7 hours of sleep. Now, 8 to 9 are optimal, right? But the minimum is 7 hours of sleep. And why is that? That is because your body waits until you're at rest in order to perform fat burning and muscle building functions. So when you're cutting your sleep short, your body doesn't have time to perform these functions, and now you're not maximizing the work that you're putting in with clean, good nutrition and exercise 4 to 5 times a week. So it is crucial that we set a bedtime, get a minimum of 7 hours of sleep every night. And finally, I want you to find an accountability group. And the reason why accountability groups are so important is because you don't want to go at this alone. There are going to be times when you need to lean on someone else for accountability and support as you're going through your journey of losing 50 or more pounds. Now, I run an 8-week shred transformation challenge where I give the participants nutrition guidance and the exercises to do, and I give them other support building healthy daily habits in order to lose fat and sustain that for a lifetime. One of the components of that challenge is a community group, and the ladies of that challenge will tell you that the community aspect, the accountability aspect of that group is the most important part of the challenge. In fact, here are some of the participants of the last round of that challenge talking about the community aspect and how it was good for accountability and support.
I like the camaraderie with everyone else, a group of ladies, and we were, encouraging one another. And everyone had challenges, and it was like, I'm not alone in some of these things that are happening. We all go through it. but we were able to encourage one another.
The community was so very important. And I realized that because I come from a background where I pretty much am a lone rider. I can work out by myself. I don't need a partner. I don't need this, that, and the other. But I realized that the community, getting feedback and insight from the other ladies was so very important.
I would have to piggyback off the other ladies. The community was awesome. I really enjoyed being a community. On a day that you didn't feel motivated, if you look, somebody would have text a picture of a meal or a picture of it, or encouraging words to say, hey, y'all, I had a bad day today, and everybody would jump in and, encourage them, and that'll make you feel better of the day as well. And let you know that you're not out there by yourself.
Now, Chauncey, who was the first participant that you heard from, was actually our grand prize winner. She ended up with a $1,000 prize for best transformation in that round of the challenge. And as you can hear, she used the power of that accountability in the community in order to power her through the 8-week challenge and to ultimately win the Transformation Grand Prize. Now, the next round of the challenge is coming up. If that is something that you're interested in, joining that challenge for the power of that community, then click on the second link in my video description. The challenge is called 8-Week Shred, and you can learn more about that challenge by following the second link. Now, I just gave you the exact blueprint on how to lose 50 pounds or more of fat in 2026 as a woman over 40. If you missed some of the points that I made in this video, rewind and catch them again, because it's so important that you follow all of them, not just one or two, but all of them, in order to get the transformation that you are seeking and that you deserve in 2026. If you've learned something in this video, take a moment and give it a thumbs up so that other women just like you can find this video and start their journey as well. And if you haven't joined the Get Fit community yet, take a moment and click on the subscribe button. I would love to have you here as part of the community. Take care, and I'll see you in 2026.